Hey everybody, it's Pastor Lily and I hope that you are doing well. As you can see by the title, today is our cheat day. Now let me tell you a little bit about cheat day. What cheat day is kind of like cheat day. You know when you cheat on your diet during the week and you have a donut, or you may have a chocolate cake, a piece of chocolate cake. Yeah, a piece of chocolate cake. What cheat day is I'm using all drugstore or beauty supply brands. So if you're interested in how I achieve this look, please stick around. Okay, so the first product that I used was after I washed my face. I just put on this Olay Total Effects. Let me see. Sorry about that. This Olay Total Effects, but I use the whip one, and I use the one that has the SPF in it already. So I'm not trying to find a foundation that has SPF and all of that kind of stuff. I use this, it's already got it in it, and I like it because it is very, very light. This moisturizer is very, very light, so I don't have to worry about it coming through on my skin. The next product that I'm going to go in with, because this is our cheat day, I'm going to use this. This for me is an oldie but goodie, but it is the Maybelline Baby Skin primer. It is instant, they call it the instant pore eraser, and I use this because I want for my skin, or I want my foundation to go on smoothly. I don't want it to be picking up. A lot of times when you have the cheaper foundations or the drugstore foundations, a lot of times they really stick to every pore, every bump, everything like that. So I'm using this to go under that, and I only use a little bit. You don't need a whole lot, but you can feel it kind of fill in those pores. I like it because it's nice and thick. It's a nice thick consistency, and so I like being able to have that go over my pores. So now, as far as the shine, now because I have foundation, because I have the primer on, it gives your foundation, it really gives your foundation something to stick to. But because I am very oily, I'm oily to combination, I'm going to actually still set that, okay? So what I'm going in with, and you'll see me use this more than once today, what I'm going in with now is I'm going to use the Black Radiance Complexion. Oh, is that upside down? Sorry. I'm going to use the Black Radiance. This is the True Complexion Loose Setting Powder. And this is just, if you can see it, it's just translucent powder. It's just translucent powder. And as you can see, I'm already at the bottom. So this is not something that I use one time or whatever. As you can see with this one, it's kind of squeezed because this is something that I use like every day going to work, things like that. I don't like to use my really, really expensive brands every single day. Something that I just bought, I went to Target and I saw this. I picked these up. Now, just to get one of them, I've seen some other YouTubers use these, and I was like, what is that? It is so cute. It's really a beauty blender, or it's a makeup blender, not beauty blender, because that's a brand all in itself. But I saw these, and one of them cost $7. So when I went to Target and I saw that they had two of them, I just went on and purchased the duo ones, and to my surprise, this cost me, right now, it cost me $7 as well. So I was really surprised about that. So that was really good. But I am going to use these, and I'm going to wet them, and I'll be right back. Okay, I did go ahead and get them a little wet. I just used a little water because I want to see how they do. Now with these, they are hard. They're a little bit harder than my beauty blender. They are harder than my beauty blender, but I'm going to see how they work, how they act. Okay, so since they're brand new, sometimes you have to wash them a few times or whatever, I guess. But I'm going to go ahead and use one for dry products, and then I use the other one. I always do this. I use one for the dry products, and then I use the other one for my liquid and cream type foundations and all that stuff. So with this one, I did dampen it a little bit, and I'm just going to go in at the back of it, and I am going to set that that primer. As you can see, this setting powder, it is definitely translucent, and I like to go over my brows a little bit so that when I fill them in, whatever I put on them is going to still have something to stick to. So I'm just gonna go a little bit around my mouth, just all of those places that I placed the primer. Don't need a lot. Okay, I think that's more than enough. Okay, all right, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and go ahead and do my brows. I like to do my eyes first because I'm not sure of the palette that I just purchased. I haven't used it yet. I've never used it before, but I have been seeing it, so I want to try it. But just in case there's a lot of fallout, I can go ahead and just use a makeup wipe or something to get that off. So what I'm using for my brows today, and I just picked this up. I've never used it before, but I think this would be a good addition to our cheap day. And so what I have is I have the L'Oreal Paris brow stylist definer. And so what this is this just an eyebrow brush. You can almost pick up any eyebrow brush, and usually they do pretty well. The color I have is dark brunette, and it's $3.90. It's actually the darkest color I saw. They didn't have like an off black or anything like that, and I usually don't use an off black. Okay, brows are so easy. All I do is I kind of outline the top and the bottom. As you can see, I have quite a bit of hair on my brows, so I don't want to go overboard by trying to fill them in. You have the other end of it that is like a spoolie. So I'm just gonna brush the front part of my brow so that it won't seem really, really harsh. As you can see, I'm really brushing more of the hairs on my face than I am for the brow. I just like to have it kind of filled in, but you know. So what I'm going to use to kind of clean it up, and you'll see this actually twice, I am going to use my LA Girl Pro Concealer. I love this stuff. The color that I use most of the time is either Toffee or I'll use Fawn. They're almost the exact same color. Fawn has a little bit more yellow in it. That's the one on the top. It has a little bit more yellow in it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with Toffee, and I just like to squeeze a little bit of it out. And I'm going to just place it up here and up here. You can almost use the brush to clean it up, to clean your brows up, but I like it just a little more defined underneath. So I'm going to go in with the brush that I always use, and this brush is actually an Anastasia brush. I've got my eyebrows are already done. I'm just going to take that same Pro Girl concealer, squirt a little bit, and then I'm going to lay it on my eyelids a little bit, because even though we are using a new, even though we are using a new palette, I wanted to just see what it was going to, I want to see what it's going to do, but at the same time, my eyelids and everything are so dark. I don't know if you've ever heard of Color Story before, but I went into the store, and this is a drugstore brand, I guess, and it's called Color Story, and I'll put some more information in the description box about this company, but I thought that it was really, really beautiful. They have several palettes. This is the Mirage Pressed Pigment Palette, and I thought, well, okay, you've got a pigment palette in Target that was only $9. Okay, this whole thing was $9.99. As you can see on the back, those are all of the shades Those are all of the shades that they have. And so I said, wow, that's a lot of colors for a palette to be only $9, and they looked very pigmented, and they are really, really gorgeous. They were some really, really beautiful colors. So we're gonna try those and see if we like them. Okay, so here we go. Again, here are the colors. As you can see them a little bit better because we don't have all of that plastic and stuff on the palette itself. So these are the colors up front and personal. I like that each and every color does have a name on it, a name under it. And so I think that this would be the perfect color to, the perfect pigment palette to use. So this is really a dark brown shade. I'm gonna try to use that, and it's called Jet Setter. It's called Jet Setter. I'm going to try to use that as a transition shade, and we're going to see how that works. I love this palette because it does have a gorgeous mirror right there on the top of it. So we are going to just go in and see how those colors are going to play out. The first color, as I said, I'm going to use Jet Setter, and I'm just using a fluffy brush. We're going to go into that color. Now with this, it already has some fallout on it, but I can handle that on the palette itself. Next color, the next color that I want to use, I think I'm gonna go in with this Maui right here. You know when you have a good palette, when you can place these colors right on, almost on top of each other, right underneath each other, and it doesn't start looking patchy on you. And so that's what I'm seeing here, that I don't have the patchiness, I don't have that going on. So that's, I'm going to build that pink. I'm gonna go up just a little bit, up into the brow bone, a little bit closer to the brow bone. I'm not gonna put it on the brow bone, but just a little bit closer. But I think that I want to go in with Mainland. Mainland is the darkest shade on here. It's an extremely dark color, as you can see it right there. It is an extremely dark brown color. It's really, really pretty. It's really, really pretty. Again, this is another matte shade, and so I'm going in with a smaller fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna go around there. This one has a little bit, it's kind of like Jet Setter. It does have the fallout happening. Let me see if I can show it to you. Kind of happening in here, and when I see that, sometimes I think, okay, is this gonna be chalky? So that's what I'm checking for. Is it gonna be like a chalky color, or is it gonna have that, you know, that chalky type feel on your eye? But let's see. Let's see. Okay, I'm not seeing this one show up as much. I'll be honest, with this color, I don't really like the amount of fallout, the amount of work that I have to do. Mainland is not one of those colors that you can put, almost like, you know, the MAC Embark, or another shade from like Juvia's Place, or something like that. This shade is not as pigmented as the other two. As you can see with the other two, they're like there. This one is not doing as much for me, but that's okay. That's just one shade out of a whole lot of them. I'm going to go into Bora Bora. The Bora Bora shade is actually a light blue. It's a shimmer. It's a shimmer shade. I'm not going to use any P. Louise because that is not in our budget today. We're doing cheap day. So I'm going to go in with Bora Bora. not giving me as much as I want, but so I suggest that even though I did put that concealer underneath to even out, you may still need to use like a primer or something, like an eyeshadow primer. Also, another thing that I'm noticing is this palette with that Bora color. What I'm also noticing here is that, as you can see, it's not even. It's not even. So I probably would do better if I had something else underneath. But ooh, this one is bumping up. Can you see that? It's, for some reason, like it's saying you're bothering me and I don't like it. I don't know. It gotta be used, boo. And it is bumping up. I'm not used to that. That blue shade actually reminds me of that color Zazu from my Lion King palette. They're very, very similar, but I've never seen a color on a palette do that. Can you see it? On top of, actually this one, right on top of that Maui that we use. I'm gonna use that one, that coral color, and I'm just gonna sit up underneath. It's almost that coral is almost the same as my my concealer that I used, so it shouldn't be that off. It shouldn't look like it. Now I've got to get I'm gonna finish the rest of my eyes later, but I have to get a makeup wipe, and I'm actually going to use this makeup wipe to wipe off the excess. As you can see, like the side of my nose, that blue is all on the side of my nose. You got to have either some time or something, because that blue did not do what we needed it to do. So I've got to go in and wipe off. To go ahead and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and color correct just a little bit around my mouth. I love the fact that this is, this sponge is massive. It's huge. It's huge. Foundation that I'm going to use, and I've got to go in like 20 minutes. Okay, so the foundation that I'm going to use is I'm going to use a little bit of this Fit Me. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Normal to Oily, and I use the shade 355 Coconut. I'm going to use a little bit of that, but I am going to use just one squirt of the NYX foundation. This is the Can't Stop Won't Stop, and I'm going to use it in the shade Mocha. Like the formula of the NYX, but in my drugstore I don't have the color that really works for me, so I have to mix even that NYX. I'd have to buy 2 of them unless I went to Ulta to get it. There is no Ulta that's really close to me, so that would be an inconvenience. Of course I could order it or whatever, but to be honest, when it comes to ordering drugstore brands, I'm not real good at ordering them. So I'll put a little, okay. All right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in, as I said, I'm gonna go back in with that Pro Girl, that LA Pro concealer, but I'm going to use the color Fawn. The color that I used on my eyes was Toffee, so I'm gonna go in with Fawn, and I like to just place the product first. This is a really good concealer. As you can see with Fawn, it's very yellow, but that still works for me. It works for me, so I'm gonna get a little bit of that. Okay, come around here, a little here, put some right there. See how that blends out? It blends out very, very well. So this is why I don't mind using this for every day, but I'm gonna keep, I like that. Okay, press it again. See how quickly can use that. Black Radiance True Complexion Soft Focus Finishing Powder. What I like about this powder is that I can use it all over my face, and it does set my foundation, and it has such a beautiful formula. The formula of it I really like, because it's not too dark, not too light. The color's great, and it does come in different colors. But the one that I'm using is the milk chocolate, and even if there was someone who was darker than me, who had a darker complexion, they could use it as well. It's very easy to use, and it is gorgeous. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on my face. Put that all over my face, and see, it does have a nice finish to it. You don't need a lot. Alright, the next thing that I will use is also by Black Radiance. This could have been a Black Radiance video. I am going to use the True Complexion contour palette. The one that I use is the medium to dark. I'm going to use it to contour just a little bit on my face. I think that it's almost the perfect, it's like the perfect shade for me. Okay, we're almost done with the face. You guys are being patient with me. The next thing that I'm going to use is by Milanni. The blush that I'm going to use is called Dolce Pink or Dolce Pink. You can call it, it's 01 actually, and this is their baked powder blush. I love their baked powder blushes. They work if you use them with Lancome. They work if you use them with anything. I'm telling you, it just has such a beautiful finish, and as you can see in there, it has some, I guess you would call it flakes. So. I pat because it does have a little bit of shimmer in it. Okay, sorry about that. My camera went dead, so I had to get myself together for a moment. But what I've used here is I've used the Wet n Wild highlighting powder, and I think that it has like a nice finish. It's really doing well. I gotta turn it this way so I can see it. Infallible Long Wear Eye Pencil, and it's in just the color purple. It's a little bit underneath the waterline itself. And you bring that all the way in there. Okay? Then we're gonna take an angle brush, a small little angle brush, and I'm going to go back in to Mirage. I'm gonna put Mainland. It's the Mirage Palette. I'm gonna go back into the Mainland color, that deep brown. And so I'm gonna bring that up underneath, swing it around to use a little bit of that hot fuchsia color, Maui. I'm gonna go back into that Maui underneath. I'm going to line my lash line. I'm going to use, I got this from my beauty supply store. It's just an eyeliner. It's actually made by Ruby Kisses. It's in black, so I'm going to use a little bit of I wanted to kind of come in just a little bit so you can kind of see what's really going on with my face. And they're in the style Kayla. You can see the name right there. They're in the style Kayla. These are really nice. They are Virgin Remy lashes. I got these from my beauty supply store, but it's from the company Kiss, and most of your beauty supply stores will have that particular company. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a setting spray. The setting spray that I'm using today is the NYX Matte Finish setting spray. Even though I wanted, even though it is a little bit dewy, I do have kind of a dewy look. I do want to put this on because I want it to stay all day. I've never sprayed it, so there we go. Is the NK Makeup lip pencil in Wild Cherry. So what it is, I got it from the beauty supply store. That's what it looks like. It's just a regular cherry. If you have ColourPop, Ellery, if you have maybe the MAC pencil, or whatever you have, you can just use it. But it's just a 99-cent, easy, cheap, dark, purple, maroon, burgundy, whatever you want to use, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips with that, right? And then the color, the lipstick that I'm going to use is, I'm actually gonna use Teddy Bear. It's a shade called Teddy Bear. It's by Milanni, and it's just a nice nude color. Okay. It's kind of a mauve, you see that? It's like a mauve nude color. So that's what I'm going to use for my lips. I like this one because a lot of Milani's, a lot of Milani's lipsticks, if it has matte on it, then they are going to be so dry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it with this, it's called Amour Shine, but the color is number 3 and it's Crush. The color is number 3. It is Milanni as well. What I did was I did put a little bit of the highlighter that I used from Wet n Wild. I did pop that right in my inner tear duct very quickly, and here is the finished look. I hope that you have enjoyed my video today, just to kind of refresh over everything that I used. Everything that I used was either drugstore brand or it was from the beauty supply store. Nothing that I used was over $20. If you can remember, I did use this Mirage Palette. Tell me what you think about it. It's the Color Story Mirage Palette, and they have so many other pressed pigment palettes. I was a little disappointed with that blue shade, but everything else worked pretty well. That Mainland, it was another shade that I wasn't really sure about, so I will try some other looks from this this palette because there are so many colors, so I look forward to trying that. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, give it that thumbs up, subscribe, and give me a little comment, and I hope that we can connect again in our future videos. Bye.